Can you feel it? Just one win stands between the Dodgers and the World Series. Never before has this franchise swept the NLCS. And with this pitching, this defense, this team, they're on the brink of history.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's time for Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're breaking down Game 3 of the NLCS, a 3-1 win over Milwaukee that puts the Dodgers just one victory away from the World Series. We're talking about what this win means, the defense and game-changing plays that have set LA apart, and we'll dive into the potential NLCS MVP discussion. Travis, I'll be honest, 3-0, I'm very optimistic, and I wasn't expecting this when the series started on Monday.
No, it's never supposed to be easy, and I guess this isn't easy, but it's certainly a little more comfortable than I think any of us would have expected. In today's episode of Locked On Dodgers is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app, so download that FanDuel app today.
He's Travis Rodgers. I'm Harry Ruiz. Two guys who talk sports for a living and bleed Dodger blue for life. You can get more Travis on 710 ESPN LA or the ESPN LA app from 3 to 6 p.m. with the Travis and DeMarco Show. As for me, I'm the Spanish play-by-play broadcaster for the USC Football Trojans and the Las Vegas Raiders. But nothing beats jumping on the mic every weekday and diving deep into what I love most, talking Dodger baseball with you. If you're new to our show, thanks for checking us out. Now, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave a like and a comment, as we love seeing what you have to say. All right. The Dodgers came into Game 3 with all the momentum in the world and didn't waste a single second asserting it. A 3-1 victory over the Brewers at Dodger Stadium gives LA a commanding 3-0 lead in the NLCS. One win away from punching their ticket to the Fall Classic. And Travis, the first two games were absolute gems from Blake Snell and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Things didn't go quietly for Tyler Glasnow early. The Brewers got traffic right out of the gate, and Glasnow ended up being pulled before even reaching 100 pitches. Couldn't even make it through 6 innings. He was good, not excellent. 5 2/3, 3 hits, 3 walks, 1 earned run, but no problem for the Dodgers, though. I mean, after seeing Yamamoto and Snell, we were too spoiled, and Glasnow did a very good job out there today.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think our metrics for what good is got a little messed up after what Blake Snell and Yoshinobu Yamamoto were able to do. Those were historically great performances. Tyler Glasnow was really good today. This is, it's the NLCS. It's at a weird time of day. You're playing a team that's absolutely desperate, and he gave his team a chance to win today. He was competitive. He battled. I thought it was really impressive, and the Dodgers just continue to find different ways to do it, whether it's with lights out starting pitching or very good starting pitching. The bullpen was pretty darn solid today, timely hitting. It just feels like no matter what they need on any given day, they're able to find it. And look, here's the craziest part of all, Harry. Like you said, they're one win away from going back to the World Series for the second year in a row. They haven't swung the bats yet. Like not even a little bit. They're not scoring any runs, and they are, what is it now? That's 3 + 3. They're 8-1 in the playoffs, and they haven't swung the bats yet. That's crazy.
Exactly. And I mean, what do you think about that Glasnow situation? Because you were very clear when it came to Blake Snell about letting him out there, that he should have pitched the complete game. Right here, he was 1 out away from getting the Dodgers into the 7th inning. And the way that the bullpen has been over the last couple of months, I understand why a lot of people would have wanted Glasnow out there, but Dave Roberts manages every pitcher a different way. Glasnow, he gave him a little bit of leash, but then in the 9th, he felt, okay, we have a closer right now in Sasaki. We're going to give him the responsibility. With Yamamoto, it was like, okay, it's your game. With Glasnow, it was less than the 6 innings.
Yeah, I think it, I think the performance merited it. He was laboring a little bit. It wasn't bad. Had he left him in, I wouldn't be jumping up and down saying, why didn't you go to the bullpen? I still think as good as the Dodger bullpen has been for the last couple of nights, or at least the last couple of series, it is still something that I don't know fills any Dodger fan with a ton of confidence, but it was very good today. You did have, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say a comfortable lead, but you did have a situation where you could feel reasonably good about what was going on. So I didn't love the decision. I didn't hate the decision. I thought that's one of those, you can kind of go either way. For me, I probably would have left Glasnow in there. I'm going to ride my starting pitching as much as you can, but I did not have a big problem with the decision to take him out when they did.
Fortunately for the Dodgers, the bats, the defense, the bullpen, they show that they can support this team. The bats, just enough. The defense was excellent, and we're going to talk about them a little bit later on the show. And the bullpen, what the hell, man? I mean, in a good way. I was like, bravo, fellas. This is what we want. First, let's start off with key moments. Leading off the bottom of the first with the only 2 extra base hits for LA, Shohei's triple and Mookie's double. Shohei, please take batting practice every single day at Dodger Stadium. Then in the 6th, after Jacob Mizrowski dominated the Dodgers for 5 innings, a string of 3 batters, Smith single, Freeman walk, and Edman single, that changed the game because the Dodgers never looked back. Because, like I said, sparingly, the bats were able to do work. We'll give credit where credit is due. Mizrowski was incredible, just like he was in July against the Dodgers.
Mizrowski was fantastic. Like, that you got anything off that guy is just short of a miracle, because he was absolutely dealing. You add in the shadows that were at Dodger Stadium because of the 3:00 start. That's just a virtually impossible ask of anybody to score runs there. Let's go back to something you mentioned, Harry, about that first inning where Ohtani gets a little excuse me triple. I don't know if I've ever seen an excuse me triple, but I think that's what it was, where he just kind of hooks it around first base or over the first baseman's head. It gets into that corner, and because he can run the way that he can, he gets an easy stand-up triple. Mookie immediately hits one into the right center field gap to bring Shohei in. And it felt to me like, okay, here we go. They're going to blow this thing open. This could be that, 9-2 game that we've been waiting for. And they not only did they not get Mookie in, they didn't even get him over. They stranded him at second base. And that was one of those, all right, it's nice to get a run in that first inning, but those weren't some great at-bats after that. And then Mizrowski comes in and just shuts everything down. But when they had a chance to score runs late in the game, when they finally got a little bit of traffic, they cashed it in with those 2 hits that you're talking about. That they've been incredibly opportunistic. They've been incredibly fortunate to get guys up at key moments, and they've delivered. They're not getting a lot of hits, but they're getting timely hits. And I think that's been the difference in this series, aside from the unbelievable pitching, is, they're not, it's not like they're having 10, 12 hits a game. They're not, but when they come, they're with guys in scoring position, especially the last couple of nights. And I think they dodged a little bit of a bullet, because with Mizrowski to pitch as well as he did, for them to still find a way to push a couple of runs across, or at least one, and then Uribe made the throwing error. It was you kind of stole one there, because Mizrowski was as good as you're going to see.
Yeah, he was lights out. He was amazing. I started getting flashbacks, like I said, to that July start over in Milwaukee, where he absolutely dominated the Dodgers. But fortunately, they got to him later in the game. They got him out of the game, and that was all they needed. And then afterwards, they brought their closer in, and he threw a check over at first. It got away, and the Dodgers scored another run there. And it was like, all right, 3-1. Hopefully that's enough. And that was the case. Why? Because I wasn't expecting to say this. The bullpen was locked on. Every reliever that stepped onto the mound was ready for the big moment. Vesia, Treinen, Banda, Sasaki. Between the 4 of them, 3 1/3 inning, only a double off of Vesia. Everybody else sat down, every single player that went up to the plate against them. And I mean, that was the only but that we had on this Dodgers roster going into the postseason. But the bullpen, they crapped the bed against the Reds in the 8th inning. They did so again in the NLDS against the Phillies, and they still were able to get through the wild card, get through the DS, and now they haven't needed them in this round. It's the first time that they've actually used the bullpen for more than one inning. And look at them. I mean, that's what the Dodgers want to have, that confidence that it's like, hey, the guys back there, they can get the job done.
Yeah, okay, I'll throw a theory out here, and I have no idea whether this is true or not, but it kind of tracks at least. The Dodger bullpen was pretty good at the beginning of the season. The reason they were able to win games through like the first 2 months was because their bullpen was able to cover so many innings. Think about when Shohei Ohtani returned to pitching. He was pitching 1, maybe 2 innings a game, which means the bullpen was having to cover 7, 8 innings on a regular basis. They just got ground into dust over the period of a couple of months, and then their performances really started to suffer from it. over the last, let's call it 6 weeks or so, the starting pitching has been brilliant, and it's allowed these guys to kind of catch their breath, get a little fresh, get a little bit of, downtime, for lack of a better word, because the less they pitch, the better they're getting. And I don't know if it's just as simple as fatigue and getting a chance to, rejuvenate yourself over a period of time, but it kind of tracks there. And I just could not be more impressed with what you're seeing, because the everydayers know what I'm about to say. They're not walking anybody. And when you don't walk people, it's really hard to score runs, especially for a team like Milwaukee that doesn't have a lot of bangers. They don't have a lot of guys that are, 30, 40 home run guys. That's not how they score runs. They score runs with base hits, errors, walks, moving guys around. Well, if you're not walking anybody, you're not going to give up 3 and 4 hits in an inning. And I love what I'm seeing. I love that they're attacking the strike zone. I absolutely loved that Hiroki Sasaki was as aggressive as he was. Like that play Mookie made, I know we're going to talk about that in a second. That was a great pitch. The pop-up was a great pitch. The strikeout was a great pitch. Like he's just strike. And if he's doing that, man, let's go. Let's play another one tomorrow and let's get this thing wrapped up.
I mean, they looked pretty fresh. They had only pitched one inning, the bullpen, in a 6-day span between finishing the Phillies and then this game 3 against our opponent right now, the Brewers in the NLCS. But beyond the stats, beyond the score, it's about the narrative. And right now, Travis, what's everybody that's not a Dodgers fan saying? Oh, look at all the money that they're spending, the hundreds and millions of dollars that they're spending left and right. Are you telling? If that were the case, that the millions play, the final scores of every postseason game would be 15-1, 15-2. But they're close game, and it's like, hey, it's talent, it's resilience. It's not just winning games, but it's making statement that it's like, hey, this team, they're great baseball players, and they're facing great baseball players too.
Look, nobody's pretending the Dodgers don't have great players, and nobody's pretending that they haven't paid a lot of money to get a lot of these guys on the team, but they're executing at a really high level. And that money doesn't buy that. What money buys is talent. What money buys is experience. And they're going out there, and, you and I were harping on this for a long time. They're playing sloppy baseball. They're throwing to the wrong base. They're running into outs. They're dropping balls in the outfield and just not walking guys out of the bullpen. They're not doing that. And that's why they're winning these games, is because not only are they remarkably talented, that's okay. They haven't broken any rules. They're going out there and they're buying really good players. That's fine. But their really good players are playing like it. And you're just starting to see the difference, that when they have their foot on the gas, when they're fully invested, when they're fully healthy, they're better than anybody else they're going to play.
And here we go, Travis. How did Tommy Edman arrive to the Dodgers?
Right.
Via trade with the Cardinals. How did Mookie Betts get to the Dodgers? Via trade. Tyler Glasnow, via trade. If y'all don't want the Dodgers having all these great players, stop trading them to us. Yeah. We'll end up buying them in the offseason, but they're getting that way to us. We'll take them. Max Muncy. We'll talk about it a little bit later. He was on the street when the Dodgers got him, so give me a break. But look, speaking of statement plays, the defense in this game was unreal. Next on Locked On Dodgers, the gems that swung momentum and showed just how much LA's glove work matters.
This episode of Locked On Dodgers is brought to you by Prize Picks, and every day we're making decisions, right? But on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. So don't miss the excitement of this football season with Prize Picks, where it is good to be right. And playing Prize Picks is incredibly fun, and it's super easy. You can make an entire lineup in about 60 seconds. You just pick more or less on player projections. Like you look at Josh Allen's passing yards. You look at Saquon Barkley rushing for a touchdown. You look at Puka Nakua's receiving yards, and you decide more or less, and you're in the game. It is quick. You can make your lineup, like I said, in about a minute or so. It's also fun to follow other players in the apps and copy their lineups with one click. And the new injury reboot feature, if your player leaves early and doesn't return, it won't count against you. So that is just one of the many, many reasons you need to get on Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Download the code, or I should say use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Don't forget to follow Locked On Dodgers not only on YouTube, but on X, Instagram, and TikTok as well. You can find Travis on social media at Travis Rodgers on X and Instagram. Meanwhile, I'm at Harry Ruiz on X, at Harry_Ruiz on Instagram, and at Harry Ruiz_ on TikTok. Travis, you were on the air while game 3 was happening. How was that experience for you? Because, man, we got to stop these 3 p.m. first pitches so you're able to watch the game comfortably, and the rest of Dodger fans over here in the West Coast.
Well, the 3 o'clock anything in Los Angeles is just not going to work out. Unfortunately, there were a bunch of empty seats down both lines today. But put it to you this way, Harry. I don't know if today is the best radio show I've ever done in my life because I had my full attention glued to the TV over my my co-host's head today. So I got to watch the Dodger game. Maybe not exactly how I would have chosen, but we got it done. We got the radio show done, and I got to talk about the Dodgers too.
I got USC Notre Dame Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific.
I don't think you're gonna have to worry about it.
So I hope that the Dodgers sweep on Friday. That way I don't have to have my tablet to the side and not be focusing on what's going down over there in Notre Dame Stadium. My first time out there. Go Trojans, fight on, and go Dodgers, of course. Please sweep it. That way we're done on Friday and we don't have to sweat about anything happening afterwards. All right. If you ask me what changed the game tonight, it's this: Max Muncy, second inning, runner at third, 1 out, grounder to third. Muncy makes an unbelievable play, throwing to home, getting the runner. Game stays tied 1-1. But in my opinion, that play flipped momentum completely because what the Brewers weren't able to do during the previous games in Milwaukee, the Dodgers were able to just put a stop and be like, okay, you're not getting anything else here in LA.
Yeah, it was one of the few times that the Brewers had a threat, right? It was one of the few times you're like, okay, let's see what happens next. They had a runner at third base. There was less than 2 outs. It was, okay, let's see what's going to happen. And Muncy made a play, not unlike when he made the wheel play against the Phillies. No one's ever going to confuse him with Nolan Arenado, right? He's not going to ever win a Gold Glove over there, but he's made some really big plays for the Dodgers. And the more he's over there, the more comfortable he gets. And look, the playoffs are different, and Max Muncy is clearly built different. He shows up in the postseason, whether it's with the bat, whether it's with the glove. He's been really good, and I couldn't agree with you more. He shut down the one real threat they had, and then after that, like we talked about a minute ago, they're not going to score runs in bunches. They're going to score runs in get a guy, the old baseball edge, get him on, get him over, get him in. That's how the Brewers play. They couldn't get him in. They could barely get him on. And so they finally got him over and they couldn't get him in. And it's because, again, going back to the first segment, they execute. The Dodgers, are, I think, a probably mediocre as things are considered defensive team. Certainly not terrible, but this year they've kind of been up and down. But in this series, they've been pretty darn good. Kike made kind of a weird play out in left field today, but generally speaking, they've been, Mookie made that play towards the end. I know we're going to talk about that in a minute, but they're making the plays you need to make. And they're making the hard plays you need to make.
Most stolen bases in the National League in 2025, the Milwaukee Brewers. When they've gotten on base in this series, I feel like they're like, okay, we can't mess around and find out and be like, okay, send the runner to second, because if it's an out on the base paths, they're not getting enough players on base to be stealing bases. They did get one steal in tonight's game, today's game, sorry. But man, I mean, the Dodgers, besides that, right here, Muncy, my God, like I was saying earlier, how did Max Muncy arrive to the boys in blue? Minor league deal back in 2017. The Athletics cut him. The A's cut him. Any team could have had him. And now he's making clutch plays in the NLCS. Money can't buy that kind of impact that the Dodgers have. And when a team picks up a guy like they did here with Muncy or like they did with Tommy Edman, you're damn right that they're going to give the Dodgers a hometown discount or defer money or do whatever it takes, because they pretty much saved their careers.
Yeah, I think Edman falls into this category too, but Muncy for sure is in the middle of the bullseye here. And I talk about this when I do my Locked On Rams shows, and I know I've mentioned it here. I know I mentioned it on my radio show on ESPN LA a lot. That give me guys that aren't scared. Max Muncy's not scared. Like there is no moment where he is out there and it's like, let's go. He may fail. He may make an error. He may strike out. He may hit into a double play, but it's not because he's like, oh my gosh, this is the playoffs. This is the World Series. I don't know what they know. I don't like this feeling. Is not something I'm comfortable with. He's not scared. And he shows it over and over and over. And the Dodgers got a team full of guys that are not scared.
And then there's Mookie Betts. He's definitely not scared.
No.
I mean, he made the switch from right field to shortstop and didn't blink. The guy looked phenomenal tonight. That ninth inning play to rob a hit, Gold Gloves level stuff right there. Oh, and by the way, he's a finalist at shortstop for the Gold Glove. Congratulations to Mookie in his first full season at that position, no less. Highs, lows, it didn't matter because Mookie, he stays consistent, he stays calm, and he delivers. Remember, Travis, when a couple of months ago we were talking about, is it time to send him back to right field? Is that what's kind of getting him funky right now? And look at him now.
Yeah, no, the speculation about him going back to right field, I think, was more that Teoscar couldn't catch fly balls than it was that Mookie was killing him at shortstop. But you're right. I made the joke on my show today when this was happening that play that he made to get the out in the ninth inning, that the best right fielder in baseball just made that play. And I still look at him as the best right fielder in baseball, even though he is maybe the best shortstop in baseball right now. And it's just, you're like, I was wrong. I was flat wrong about Mookie making the transition to shortstop. I didn't like it at the time. I thought that there would be a moment where it was going to bite the Dodgers in the behind and say, this is what happens when a guy's trying to learn a position at the big league level. He's been phenomenal. That play, the second he made it, in the short left field grass, the leap, the turn, the throw, that was Derek Jeter. I mean, we've seen Derek Jeter make that play a million times, and Mookie did it. And again, Mookie is the best defensive right fielder in baseball, and he's been playing shortstop for 2 years. That's how special of an athlete he is. And he's swinging the bat now too. And, obviously whatever was ailing him at the beginning of the season where he lost that weight and kind of lost his mojo. I know he had some personal stuff that he was dealing with. His stepfather passed away during this season, but whatever was in his universe has calmed down, and he has been, what he's been, Harry? He's been Mookie Betts, and that's pretty darn good.
He went from a below average Mookie Betts to then being Mookie Betts again, which is an excellent baseball player. So shout out Mookie, shout out Max. That defense was great. And I mean, we can go on and on with how many great plays Pages has done during the season. Andy Pages has done in center field during the season. Look over at first base, Freddie Freeman bailing out his teammates left and right. Will Smith, that game where he had multiple players caught stealing at second. And if you follow Dodger baseball 162 games a year and not just start watching in the playoffs, or in the case of other fan bases, start hating when they're winning in the playoffs, this team, they know how to play real good baseball. And you know what, Travis, maybe that's going to be the solution for Rob Manfred. Okay, we're going to have Andy Pages playing third base for the Dodgers, Max Muncy playing center field, and see if that changes things. Hey, bring Shohei Ohtani as a catcher. I'm pretty sure.
Mookie is one of those, literally, I think if you said to him, hey, we need you to catch tonight, he could probably pull it off. I know he bowls. I know he plays golf. I know he does all of those other amazing things, but I've officially moved Mookie into that category of, if he says he can do it, I'm just going to believe him, because apparently there's nothing he can't do.
Exactly. And now, if defense was a highlight, the NLCS MVP race is its own thriller. Coming up on Locked On Dodgers, who's stepping up in the series and putting together the numbers and moments that could earn them that honor.
The NFL season is here. Baseball playoffs are here. The hockey season is here. Basketball's around the corner. And FanDuel, they have an offer that you are not going to want to miss, because right now, new customers can bet just $5. You're going to get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. You pick a bet, you put down $5, and if it hits, you're going to unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app, right? FanDuel's got a million different ways to play. You like parlays? FanDuel's got you covered for parlays. You like player props? Yep, they got player props too. Even, right, live lines. You're like, I'd like to see how the game's going a little bit. FanDuel's got live lines. Makes watching football, playoff baseball, everything you love even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. So whether you're just a casual fan or you love going deep into all the numbers, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started.
Thanks for making us your first listen wherever you may be tuning in, either on your favorite podcast app or our YouTube channel. Smash that notification bell so you never miss a beat. Full episodes, hot takes, breaking Dodgers news, and the Dodgers postcast show with Pete Fox live after the final out of every game. If it drops, you're on it. That's how you become an everydayer here on Locked On Dodgers. Travis, I know that you're going to dislike this segment like crazy because we still need the Dodgers to get that fourth win for it to actually happen. But individual awards in the postseason are always interesting because starters might dominate in one game, but if the series ends in 4, that's just one performance. So who's standing out for the Dodgers right now, in your opinion?
It's a great question. And I really had not thought about it too much until you mentioned it. Maybe Mookie. Mookie's played some high-level defense. He's made some plays. He's got on base. He had that big walk in game 1 to force in a run. It sounds weird to say a big walk, but it's the second time he's done that in the postseason. Drove in a run today. I don't think, like last year when Tommy Edman was knocking down walls and just seemed like every time he went up to bat, he was hitting a home run. It was an easy decision. Freddie Freeman in the World Series hit a home run in every game. I mean, it was an easy decision. I think you could give it to Yamamoto. I think you could give it to Snell. I think you could give it to Betts. I think those are all pretty good choices at this point. Those would be the 3 guys that kind of jump to mind. And who knows? We'll see what happens tomorrow. If somebody hits a couple of home runs, if Mookie has a big day, I think he can certainly cement it. If Shohei goes out there and absolutely dominates on the mound and maybe hits a couple of home runs, he could steal it at the last minute. I mean, who knows what it could be? But the Dodgers have plenty of options. That's for sure.
Yeah, look, Will Smith and Tommy Edman, I was going through the stats because we're filming today, Thursday evening, and some of the stats aren't accumulated yet. And I was going through them game by game. Will Smith and Tommy Edman, they lead the team with 4 hits in the series, putting their stamp on multiple games. Freddie Freeman, he has 3 hits, all extra base hits, including a homer. Kike Hernandez, quietly effective, 4 for 10 with 2 runs scored. These are the guys making their presence felt in the series at the plate. But I'm on the same page as you. But with the pitchers, if they go to 5 games, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Blake Snell, the National League Championship Series MVP.
Yeah, if Snell gets another start and is even decent, I think he can certainly lock that down. It's funny. I made this joke, and I really wasn't kidding when I said it, because when we were talking about the series last year against the Padres, and we were trying to figure out, I know they don't do MVPs in the DS, but who could it be against the Padres? And then when they played the Mets in the CS, and it was one of those, hey, can we just give it to the bullpen collectively? Like literally give it to all of them, like Dodger bullpen, NLCS MVP. I think you could do the same thing for the starting rotation this year. It's just, Glasnow, it almost feels unfair to say that he was anything other than terrific, because he was really, really good. It's just that when you get 2 masterpieces in the game before it, it just doesn't look quite as impressive when it follows on the heels of something like that. But every Dodger pitcher that has started a game has been brilliant.
And when you have Mizrowski doing what he was doing, opposite of you every half inning, it's like, okay, Glasnow's pitching really good, but look at that kid Mizrowski too. He's doing excellent right now. When he sat, how many batters was it in a row for the Dodgers? It was like, okay, Glasnow's good. Mizrowski right now is looking maybe a little bit better.
The question with him was just, okay, get that pitch count up, make him work for it. You're not going to hit him. You're not going to score a bunch of runs off of him, but
300 miles per hour.
Yeah. Get him out of the game, and let's see who comes in next. And maybe we'll have better luck against that guy, because nobody was hitting that. Quite frankly, Harry, it was like, I'm sure how Brewers fans felt watching Yamamoto and watching Snell. Like, can we just get this dude out of the game and take a shot with the next guy? Because there's nothing to do here. And that's what Jacob Mizrowski was like.
Yeah, so that would be me right now. If we get to 5 games, I feel it's going to be Blake Snell, the MVP. If not, just looking at the stats right now, I would either go Mookie or Will Smith as the MVPs for the Dodgers in this NLCS series.
I would love to see Mookie get it. Just going through what he went through this year, getting off to such a bad start, losing all that weight. People, guys like us talking about, should he move over here? Should he do this? Why is he hitting 200? You know, what's going on with this guy? Is he too old? Is he washed? And he turned back into Mookie Betts, and he obviously is an incredible inspiration. He obviously is an incredible player, and for him to add this to his trophy case would be pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, he did it with the bat, with the RBI double on Thursday's game. He's gotten a walk to bring in a base as well. The glove has been incredible. So those would be guys that I would go to. But Travis, you're a former player. You were out there with UC Santa Barbara. Shout out to the Gauchos. Players will say that they don't care about individual awards, but the truth is everyone loves having something to show for their work, right? This award goes in the trophy case, and it also is a big nod to heart and effort.
Let me tell you something. Anybody that says they don't care about that stuff, it's very simple to explain. They're lying. Okay? It is as simple as that. Of course they care. Of course. Why wouldn't you care? It's cool. It's important.
Of course.
It means you played great. It means that people recognized you for playing great. Of course they care. I get it.
Hey, Tommy Edmonds' price tag went up once he got the NLCS MVP last year. I can guarantee you that.
Oh, sure. And look, everybody likes to be told you did a great job. And look, they want to win first, but getting a nice shiny little trophy or a pat on the back or a financial incentive or whatever they may be, people care. They may say they don't, but they do.
Absolutely. And look, the postseason and baseball overall is unpredictable. Nothing is official until the final out of the series. And I know, Travis, you were like, in the back of your head, I'm pretty sure you're a little bit mad at me for putting this topic up front, but I thought it would be interesting to close out the week here with our followers on Locked On Dodgers.
Yeah, no, I'm not mad at you, Harry. I just hope that the baseball gods went to bed early and they're going to miss this episode and they did not hear you blaspheming the way that you are. But I'm very I'm not a default optimistic guy, but I'm pretty optimistic right now.
Hey, if I had a trophy right now, it would go to you, Travis, because I know that you're not at 100% today and you were a warrior. You went through it. We filmed 2 podcasts where you were able to get your 3-hour show. You got Locked On Rams as well. Shout out to Locked On Rams. So thank you so much, Travis, for being a warrior and getting another episode for everyone who's tuning in.
Let's do it. We'll do another one, hopefully in the World Series before too long. We'll keep them coming.
Exactly. Well, that will do it for today's episode of Locked On Dodgers. If you're still craving more baseball talk, have the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night be your second listen. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find it on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Tune in tomorrow for the Game 4 postcast with Pete Fox immediately after the final out of the game. And if the Dodgers close it out, I'll have a bonus episode late Friday night, early Saturday morning for all of you. We appreciate you riding with us. Until next time, keep it real, keep it Dodger Blue.